Welcome. I'm Diane Probus, a public space planner for Arlington County Parks and Recreation. Thank you for your participation in our second public engagement. Your feedback is instrumental in developing the final design concept for a new public plaza that will be built by Skanska next to their new office building at 3901 Fairfax Drive. This presentation provides an update on where we are in the public engagement timeline and next steps, provides a summary of the feedback respondents shared in their first online engagement in September. Following my brief presentation, Skanska will present a draft plaza concept inspired by public feedback. The last step after this presentation is for you to provide your feedback on the draft concept. We would like to hear your final thoughts and ideas about it. Highlighted in yellow is where we are today, the second online public engagement. The feedback form will be open for 2 weeks to gather the final feedback on the draft plaza concept. After closing the feedback form, we will review your comments and suggestions and consider adjustments to the draft concept. On Tuesday, October 27th, Skanska will present the draft plaza concept to the Park and Recreation Commission. The last step is County Board consideration of the final plaza concept in November as part of a site plan amendment for site plan number 386, 3901 Fairfax Drive. Per a site plan condition in their June 2020 site plan amendment, Skanska is required to submit an amendment to the County Board if they plan to change the plaza design. We were pleased with the high number of responses we received for the first engagement. We learned that having shade in the plaza was important to many of the respondents. Although there were a variety of preferences expressed for how people would like to use the plaza, enjoying the shade was the top preferred use, followed by chatting with friends and reading quietly. Respondents generally preferred including some type of activity in the plaza, and the highest interest expressed was including a labyrinth or maze, followed by cornhole or a giant chessboard. We learned that respondents would prefer casual uses in the plaza. For types of amenities such as flexible or fixed amenities, and for seating options, respondents were almost evenly split. Lastly, respondents expressed a higher preference for having more plantings than paving. Respondents expressed a strong preference for having trees and plantings in the plaza and a preference for either a shade structure, trellis, or a non-interactive water feature. Although more respondents expressed that private outdoor seating is appropriate, as shown in the concepts, there were a number of people who expressed more space should be dedicated to public space. We received many written comments on what appealed the most to respondents from each concept and also to what they would change about each of them. We read these comments thoroughly and then we looked for major themes to help provide direction on the plaza design. For Concept A, respondents expressed the appeal of a non-interactive water feature, which could provide a sense of calm with its flowing water and sound in the plaza. Other respondents commented about the water feature, expressing concern on whether the water feature would break down, the cost of its maintenance, and how it would look in the winter without running water. An appealing feature for many respondents for Concept B was the increased number of trees and plantings, the shade structure, and the layout of the plaza. Respondents found both cafe tables with movable chairs and inset benches equally appealing. Regarding the placement of a private cafe tables on the east side of the plaza, there were respondents who noted their preference for Concept B because there appeared to be less tables than shown in Concept A. Last but not least, a number of respondents shared their appreciation for the mix of plantings in the plaza and the seasonal colors they will provide. There were a number of comments regarding an interest for including pollinator plants. Finally, it is time to see the draft concept prepared by Skanska, utilizing the feedback from the first online engagement. We strove to include many of the elements respondents found appealing from concept A and B in this third concept. The draft concept reflects a desire for shade, more trees, and plantings, for casual use of the space, movable tables and chairs, as well as inset benches and flexible space for small-scale activities and events. The plaza will also include a couple activities for people of all ages to enjoy. The following concept includes a shade structure to provide additional shade, which many respondents desired, along with more trees and plantings. Although many respondents found the non-interactive water feature appealing, including both of these features would exceed the plaza budget. Please continue through the presentation to view the draft concept. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Becker, architect with Callison RTKL and project manager for the 3901 North Fairfax Drive project. I'll be walking you through the following presentation for the plaza. This is a follow-up to an earlier presentation given in September. If you've not viewed that September presentation, it may be helpful to take some time and view it first, since it outlines some background information and context that won't necessarily be repeated here. For this presentation, we'll recap the two concepts presented in September and briefly touch on some of the feedback received. We'll then present a modified concept and describe some of the proposed features and aspects. Finally, we'll talk a bit about budget and the next steps. In September, we presented two possible concept designs for the plaza. The designs were made available online and the community was asked for their feedback. We received an incredibly high number of responses and some valuable input for moving forward. The comments we received from the community were thoughtful, well-reasoned, and show a great sense of civic engagement. As anticipated, although not everyone agreed on each issue, there are some common themes that were raised fairly consistently. The desire for using the space is mostly passive, either for informal small group gatherings or individually to eat lunch, chat with friends, read, or rest for a moment and enjoy the fresh air and shade. There were desires for increased shade and plantings, for varied seating opportunities, and for quality paving and lighting. The revised concept that we'll present shortly addresses these desires. The valued aspects from the two schemes are merged into a new concept, which we are calling Concept C. We've also nicknamed this the Tranquil Urban Retreat. This concept distributes trees throughout the plaza area to provide a variety of seating options among richly landscaped, bermed, planted beds. Near the center of the plaza, a shade structure, or pergola, occurs. And a maze pattern is proposed within the paving at the small open area to the north. The distributed tree canopy and pergola will provide dappled shade for the seating areas. The pergola will be a metal structure topped with either punched metal or linear purlins to allow sun to filter through. The two southeast trees are planted in small flush tree grates to allow chairs to nestle right up into the shade. The continuous paving also allows flexibility for small gatherings such as weekend morning yoga or Tai Chi classes. The lozenge-shaped berms will be mounted up to approximately 24 to 30 inches in height at their centers. The berms are intended to break up the paving and help sculpt the adjacent spaces to provide a subtle sense of enclosure. They will be richly planted with a variety of species, creating different colors and textures. Not counting the tree canopy, approximately 23% of the plaza is now landscaped, compared to 9% in the design that was approved in 2013. The plants and trees are selected for four-season interest, so each month there will be something new to discover and enjoy. All plants here have also been selected for their habitat supporting benefit for insects and birds. A variety of seating options is proposed. There will be benches cut into the edges of the berms for individual or small group use. Some of these face the maze to allow parents to sit and enjoy their children as they puzzle through the maze or play with friends. These benches can also be artful objects that reference back to the library. Movable tables and chairs will allow visitors to pull them into the shade or sun to enjoy lunch or a moment of respite. The paving inside the arc is a rich pattern of concrete pavers using a blended mix of subtly contrasting colors. The paving outside the arc is a high-quality installation of tinted concrete with color additives and score lines for interest. The maze is a flush pattern created in the concrete using different tinted mixes and aggregates to delineate a circuitous puzzle-like path for children and adults to enjoy. The lighting strategy involves varied and layered light sources. Some are hidden, some are decorative, some direct, some indirect, all to add interest and reinforce the concept while ensuring ample lighting. At the south end of the plaza, 2 internally illuminated benches are proposed to help mark the corner of the plaza, acting as a sort of gateway. Careful consideration has been given to provide for handicapped accessibility and to equally accommodate wheelchair users throughout the plaza and across the change in grade. These are some three-dimensional views of the proposed concept taken from various viewpoints. We prepared a preliminary construction cost estimate and believe that the concept can be achieved within the stipulated budget. Following this presentation, there will be a link to an online site where you can provide your feedback on this latest concept. Please be sure to stay involved. We value your input and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again.